This channel is all about scrap use, and whoever is doing sewing projects, be it quilts or sewing clothes, will have tons of scraps of different fabrics. And I hope this channel will give you some ideas and inspiration how to use those scraps. Today, because of my personal interests, I have a lot of scraps. All of it's woven cotton, so it's mostly patchwork cotton. And I would like to share with you some of my ideas, what I do to use those different scraps. Right now here we have small squares, about 100 of them. And their size is, as you will see here, their size is about 2 by 2. It's exactly 2 by 2 inches. You can do them slightly larger, you can do them slightly smaller, depending what you like. And there are different fabrics. I simply bought some swatches of some Japanese prints, and I cut them. They were too small on their own to use in any separate project, so I cut them into such small squares. And what we will do, we will combine them in different pairs, and we will start sewing, chain sewing them together to create a very nice cosmetic pouch. What you need to complete such projects are, of course, scraps, is a sewing machine. I am using a narrow foot that will give me a very nice 1/4 inch allowance. It is not that important for squares, but for other projects where dimensions and accuracy is important, then it is preferable if you have such foot, or that you can adjust your seam allowance to 1/4 inch. The other advantage of using such scrappy project is that I can use all of my partly filled bobbin to simply make it empty, and without wasting any thread I can use them to sew my project to the end. So it's win-win all around. I am reducing my scraps and I am reducing the waste in my thread. Otherwise I would just have to unwind it and throw it away, which sometimes I do, but generally I do not like it. Good thread is not cheap. What I'm doing now is I need to create a square or a rectangle from my squares. And the fastest way to do that is to put the 2 squares of different colors, of different fabrics, right sides together, and sew them on one side with 1/4 inch allowance. And we will do chain piecing, which means I will just sew a bunch of them like 24 pairs at least. I am mixing it, there is no preference. Collecting any 2 that come into my hands. You can use single color scraps, you can use complementary colors, you can use strongly contrasting colors, whatever you like, or whatever scraps you have available. Right now I had simply this, once I got this Japanese fabric. It is a little bit stiffer than anything else I had, and I didn't want to mix it with anything else in my collection. So I decided to use those small pieces of fabric and cut them into this kind of project. So let me continue. And once I've sewn all my pairs together, I will show you the next step. Right now I have about 25 pairs of squares sewn together. I need 24 per one side. I will need 2 such sets. Let's separate them. You can also use this side, the blade and the side of your machine, to cut the threads in between. And the next step in our project is to take 2 pairs of our patchwork of different fabrics and put them together. And again, we will be chain piecing. When dealing with scraps, chain piecing is a very effective strategy. Next one. I finished my second phase, which means combining the pairs into rows of 4, as you can see here. And we will now, before we will complete all the rows, we have to do one step more. We have to combine the pairs of 4s into one row of 8, and that will give us the full width of one of the sides of our cosmetic pouch. So let's do that very fast. By fast I mean at your own favorite speed. Scrappy projects are not fast, but not everything has to be fast in our life. Sometimes we can take our time. If you're a beginner in patchwork making, this is a very, very good project to learn how your machine operates, how to sew accurate seams. How to sew straight seams, and how to combine different colors. So it is really very nice project that will allow you to train your skills and master the basics of patchwork making. So now we have 6 of such rows, and now we will combine them together into one rectangle. And to do that, now I have to make sure that I am showing it correctly. So as you can see here, we will combine them, of course, the right sides together, and it is important that the seams are nesting. So one side goes to the left and one side goes to the right. And when they will nest, they will look very nice here. So let's sew them together, paying attention to the nesting of the seams. So let's remember about the seams, and now I just have to pay attention that my seams on top are going down. On the other side they go up, and I'm checking with my finger that the seams are nesting. I could of course use pins, and I'm doing that when I have very complex patchwork. With lots of points that have to meet. But on scrappy projects, I am a little bit more relaxed. So that would be the first pair. And again here, we will pay attention that the seams are going down. And we will, so that's about right. I was just checking that I don't have two identical elements next to each other. So now I will put those 6 stripes together, and I will show you the final results in a moment. Here we can see the 2 complete sections. It's 8 by 6 squares, so 48 squares per side. That was the side number 1, and that's the side number 2. Now, as you can see, they are laying on a piece of batting that it's not cut to size yet. I like to do that after I attach the top layer to the batting layer for one side of my cosmetic pouch, and we can do that in different ways. You can of course glue it together. That's not my favorite approach. I like to add a little bit of texture with quilting. Now, what does it mean, quilt? Quilt, it means to connect different layers of fibers together with sewing. And We can do that in this case in a very simple manner. That would be kind of your introduction to quilting. We could either sew on both sides of the seam lines in both directions. That would be a very nice way, or we could sew on the diagonal. And I think in this case I will go with the diagonal approach. So let me grab some nice golden thread, and we will practice a little bit of very basic quilting on square grid patchwork. I'm ready to attach my patchwork top to the fleece I have under, to the batting, and I just used a leftover from my last quilting project. I am very determined to use for those videos really only my leftover scraps. So I'm using walking foot now. That means I should have at least the ability to, transport also the walking foot allows you to grab the top fabric and move it much better with the bottom. So you have an active transport on the top and at the bottom of your quilt sandwich. Different machines have different solutions for this kind of sewing. This is not a free motion quilting, this is quilting with walking foot. So please check your instruction manual for your machine if you have this option available. If not, it's not a big deal. Simply use your normal foot to do exactly the same thing. So what I'm doing right now is I am just traveling on all the possible diagonals. And quilting, covering my patchwork with diagonal lines. And in this way I will create a very stable part for my cosmetic pouch. So I'm always changing direction here, creating, I just have to make sure that I'm rotating. I'm not using any markings because my squares are very small and I can just aim for the next point. And once you are done with that, and it's the first time of doing such a thing, congratulations, you completed your first quilting project. You can, if you are familiar with quilting, you can do the same just by using a ruler and a ruler foot, but that's a little bit different cup of tea or coffee. This way of quilting can be done by anybody. It's very simple, yet extremely effective, and gives you a very nice pattern. Sometimes less is more. You can see I am moving in a very systematic manner. I am trying not to break my thread because it's faster that way, believe me. So this is around this direction. I'm not using any backing in this case. I am sewing directly. My sandwich has only 2 layers in this case, and the reason for that is that I will use these elements for a pouch, cosmetic pouch. That means I will add a lining anyway, so I do not have to use another fabric to hide the batting from the view. This layer will be added separately when I will finish the pouch. But first we have to prepare the elements. And like that, I will quilt both elements, and I will show you how it looks like when it's done. Our 2 patchwork elements are done and quilted. Now let's take a look here. Look how gorgeous this mixture looks like. Everything is quilted. We can also see on the other side this very nice regular on point mesh of quilting lines. And those 2 elements are finished. I cut them to the size. Now everything what you need to transform this into a cosmetic pouch is a zipper that you have to cut, of course, to the size, and some lining. And for that I used the backing from my latest quilt project that was also left over, and with its gold color it fits perfectly. This video is not about sewing it together. I will include some elements now in the short video, but that's only for people that really want to see it. If you are interested, I will be happy if you will stay watching this video longer. Please let me know if you want me to include those final finish details in the future. I will be very happy to hear your feedback, and hopefully see you soon in the next video. If you like it, please let me know and subscribe to this new channel. Have a good one. To change these 2 patchwork elements into a nice cosmetic bag, we will need the zipper that it's cut to length, and we will need 5 of our squares to add as tabs to the zipper and on the side of our pouch. So let me show you step by step how I do that. So first the zipper, we are taking 2 of the squares each. We will then cut it to the side, and I am just placing them on my zipper. I have to do that, of course, right side together. I just have to pull out the thread from the bottom. One side. And let's repeat that on the other side. Again, we are putting it on top of our two squares. We have those leftovers, we can also use them. And by top stitching we are securing the zipper in a nice way. So let's cut off those annoying threads. Now we can cut away those parts because we do not need them. You can also measure like about 1 inch of the width of the square, and that would be about the right amount that you need. I like to have an excess because those things like to shift. Once this is done, we can take another square, we can fold it in 4 and sew it on the edges. Then with this we can fold in half. And we will attach it to one of the elements here, and it will create a very nice decorative and functional element, so we can hold when we open or when we close our bag. So now we have all the elements required to sew the pouch, and we will start with centering the zipper and sewing it on one side, then adding the cut to size lining, and we will repeat it on the other side. Then after I will show you that on one side, I will finish it and show you the next steps. So first let's change the foot to zipper foot. So this looks good. If you are skilled with sewing zippers, you can do that for 3 layers immediately. I prefer to do that 1 layer at a time because zippers can be difficult for me. I am more patchwork sewer and sewer and quilter than seamstress. Someone who is very good at sewing garments. Seamstress. So that's number 1. Now we can cut away those elements that are too long. I know that there are people that can measure it very, very well and they are extremely precise. I prefer to give me space for making an error. I am more realistic that way. And now the lining, so we are putting it right sides together. It is important to remember that. I am known to sew batting wrong size, the lining already wrong size, so yeah, I know how it is. I'm checking where my zipper is so I can move it. Lift the foot, move the zipper out of the way, and let's sew the lining to the end. So actually I will make an experiment. I'm not sewing it exactly to the end, only stopping about the seam allowance away from the edge for the lining. I want to minimize the thickness of the seams at the end, there where we have to turn it. Now, once this is done, it is good to iron actually this part, if you want. I will just use my fingernail to push it against, and then we will top stitch it. And in order to prevent shifting of the elements, let me put just some clamps around. So I know nothing will get skewed. I like to pull this bottom thread to the top to avoid the pesky knots at the bottom. I don't like when that happens. So now you have all necessary steps to combine the elements together. I will repeat this procedure on the other side as well. Both sides are fixed now to the zipper, so now we have a very nice skeleton scaffold for our pouch, so you can see the everything. What we have to do now is to sew the lining together and the patchwork together, and while remembering to leave the pouch open, otherwise we cannot turn it around, and remembering to leaving an opening here free of seam so we can turn it around, and then we can just square the corners. So that should be already, hopefully this is known how to do that, and I will just show you in a moment. Ready, pouch. I turned the back to the right side, and now everything I have to do is to close the lining. And my Oriental cosmetic pouch is done. Please take a look at the endings. It looks very nice. And everything you need to complete such project is 100 squares. See you soon. Bye.